Welcome to the Expert Exchange, the podcast where knowledge meets success, with your host, Joshua Carnes, and expert guest, Jordan Brown. Today's show is brought to you by Lion Business Advisors.
The content in this show is for informational purposes only. You should not construe any such information or other material as legal, tax, investment, financial, or other advice. The Expert Exchange is not a fiduciary by virtue of any person's use of or access to this content. The Expert Exchange is not licensed to practice law or provide legal advice. Nothing contained within this show is intended to be an offer to either buy or sell securities.
Welcome to the Expert Exchange, the podcast where knowledge meets success. I'm your host, Josh Carnes, and on today's show, we are going to be discussing the importance of video and how business owners should be leveraging video with their business today. Joining me on today's show is expert guest Jordan Brown. Jordan is with 10 Pillar Productions. You can find more information about Jordan and his team on 10pillarproductions.com. That is the number 10 pillarproductions.com.
At Lion Business Advisors, selling a business is not just a transaction. You've poured your heart and soul into your business. It's not just a paycheck, it's your legacy. The team at Lion Business Advisors is here to guide you through the process, ensuring your successful exit. Contact the team at Lion Business Advisors at 800-525-3542. That's 800-525-3542, or visit us at lionbusinessadvisors.com. Lion Business Advisors. Let the story of your next chapter begin with us.
So get ready to expand your horizons and refine your strategies as we dive in to the importance of video and how business owners should be leveraging that video with today's expert guest, Jordan. Jordan, welcome to the show.
Thanks so much for having me, Josh.
Before we dive into today's show, why don't you tell everyone a little bit about yourself and about 10 Pillar and what it is that you guys actually do over there?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the story is pretty simple. It's a bunch of college buddies. We went to Sam Houston State. And like most of us, it's mass communications degree with an emphasis in video and film production. And we just were shooting class projects together, shooting passion projects together. So our story really just begins at Sam Houston, just a couple friends shooting video together. And we were kind of like, we could maybe do this as like a company. That'd be fun, you know? So we all kind of had our own degree, or we had our own like jobs after, college. So I went straight into the industry in Houston first. I had an internship in LA and then went straight into the the production industry in Houston and was working on commercials just at the very bottom, just learning. My mom's friend knew a person who ran a production company. That's like exactly how the industry works, like the line of people that you know. So I just got really lucky and got on a bunch of really good sets, did a film production in Dallas for a couple months, and then took a corporate video job for a year or so as well too, before my business partner Trey and I decided we wanted to do 10 Pillar full time and see if we could build up our own clients, go from there, and just from there it's just been video production, commercials, TV, a lot of interviews, B-roll, all sorts of video content.
So how long has 10 Pillar been around?
I guess technically 2016, 2017, but that was like also still like during college, so it was like, we're a company, but this is our fourth year officially like being full-time doing it. So the beginning of August will be like our 4 years completed. So
nice.
Yeah.
So let's dive into it. Even your name, 10 Pillar Productions, right? So let's start with kind of like a high level. What is the major difference between production video and like video marketing?
Yeah, I think a lot of people, well, just marketing in general, right? Like marketing and video production. I think a lot of people are just going to assume, oh, that's kind of the same thing.
Yeah.
That's like the same people. I'm talking to the same person. When in reality, that's usually completely two different departments, right? So I like to use the analogy of like, think of a big company, right? Huge corporation. They've got teams of people in marketing, right? To make it easy, say you've got the VP of marketing and then they, work with the marketing manager. And then the marketing manager has his whole team of SEO and website people. They have their photography team. They have their video production team, right? Video is just one piece of that bigger marketing picture. right? Where I think a lot of people just go, oh, this person does marketing. That means they do all of that. But in reality, a lot of times that marketer may be working with a specialist as well too, right? So that's typically what we're doing as well too. We work with, I mean, we have our own clients, right? We find our own clients and we shoot video content for them. But we more often than not, get a lot of referrals from like marketing agencies or like say a director of marketing for a company that may not have a videographer, right?
Okay.
Or they're not in love with their video solution, right? And if you're not in love with your video solution, why would you pitch that to your clients, right? Why would you pitch something that you're not confident in, you know? So we found a nice little lane there to kind of be like the marketer's support in that way, right? So, I mean, I think that's the biggest thing with the marketing versus video is that we work together. It's not all just one, because I don't do marketing. I just shoot the content.
You just do the videos and say, here you go, do with it what you will.
Right. And I say we're a script to screen company.
Okay.
So we'll help you develop it. I have no problem like helping and getting it all going and scheduling and everything, giving ideas and all that kind of stuff. But at the end of the day, I'm not the marketer though. I'm not the one that's going to put it in place. That's a different person. You're
not leveraging it. You're getting them high quality video to be leveraged.
Right. My goal is to always create content for everything, not just one thing. Because I know, like, one of my favorite things is like if a marketer goes, hey, Jordan, can we get a 20-second version of this snippet? I'm like, it's in folder 4. Like, I've already done it. You know, like I love to be like, I try to be really proactive because I know what the marketers need, right? So I really try to like be proactive and not reactive. Yeah. Right. I feel like that's kind of the difference as well too.
Because you've been working with them for so long.
Yeah, like working with them for so long, where I also just know the formats of like where the content's going to be used, you know?
So someone who reaches out to you, generally a marketing agency or a business owner or both, what does that look like?
Oh, it's definitely both. I mean, it's definitely both. I mean, you know, we don't have all of our eggs in one basket for sure when it comes to how we get work. It's a super collaborative and contractor industry. It's very ebbs and flows, you know, hot ups and downs. So we also make sure we always try to have a wide range of how we can get work, right, to stay busy. So connecting directly with the business owner, we do that. We have our own clients. I talk with them about what we're doing, why we're shooting the video. But more often than not, it's probably most likely going to be the marketer, because at the end of the day, I may even ask the business owner, who's doing your marketing? Because most of the time, that's who I'm going to end up talking to at some point. You know, whether if I am talking directly with the business owner, then I'm probably going to be talking with the marketing person as well too, right? And if they don't have a marketing person, that's usually another qualifier for like, okay, we probably need to get that going before we're doing like bigger production video, you know, because it may not work if we're not actually having a marketing plan in place to use it, right?
Yeah.
So,
you know, 10 Pillar's been around for a while. I've seen you speak at a few engagements in Austin, and you do a lot of help for business owners on how they can begin engaging video on their own without hiring a professional. But when should a business owner step up and engage a professional like yourself?
I love that question because I'm a huge advocate for shooting your own video. We say, in general, we say collaboration over competition. So whether that's another videographer, whether that's the iPhone, we never look at that as competition, because the truth is, and right now especially, you can't be shooting enough video. Yeah. Right? Like you can't. Like a video is like marketing right now. You know, it's like, it is like everything. It's gold, you know.
We like video a little bit here.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, I've got this awesome studio. Yeah, video is huge. It's gold. And again, marketing's always changing. But right now, video has been really big. You know, so you can't be creating enough. So I'm a huge advocate for shooting your own video as well as doing professional video as well. So I guess going into when to hire a videographer versus doing it yourself. I use the term, when you're going to be working with more of a videographer or a video production company, something a little more, you know, professionally produced. Yeah. I consider that usually something that's going to be a little more timeless, where maybe shooting on your phone or screen recording or shooting a webcam, something like that, is usually more temporary, right? So timeless versus temporary is kind of the first thing that I say. Like if you're gonna think about that, like, okay, a video that I produce, you could be using that for the next 20 years potentially. I mean,
Yeah.
Honestly, like if you do it right, you find the right production company and you create a good video, you could be using that on your website for a long time.
Yeah.
So that's why I like to say it's like more timeless. It's to be something that you're proud of, something to show off your business, something to probably go more into like, this is representing my brand, right? Or, shooting behind the scenes. Like, I mean, I would do it right now, just shooting behind the scenes with you on my phone. I mean, I do that all the time as well too. But I know that that's really maybe going to live on social media. It's going to be one video post. It's just more temporary, right?
On like shorts or stories versus on a website forever.
Right. So temporary versus timeless is usually my first like piece of advice of like, okay, where is this going to live? How long? What's it really for? And then the next thing obviously is going to be budget.
Mm-hmm.
So are you looking to invest a lot of money into production? Or are you kind of looking at more, again, like DIY it, save some money, shoot some video on your, and you're right, you have a great camera on your phone, so, but price, I mean, that's just part of everything, so just budget depends on if you want to spend more or not. And then time as well too. A lot of people, when they think about shooting video, it's a lot that goes into it time wise on the business owner as well. So, pre-production, production, and post-production, which just means planning, shooting, and editing. A lot of people are just like, oh, I'm just going to shoot a video. And then, but now I have to like spend hours to edit as well too. So we even offer sometimes where we'll just do editing. Like we'll just have an editing package. So say they did all of their own footage. They shot it all. They have a bunch of behind the scenes, or they did some just look where I am today or anything. We'll just do editing as well too, just because again, like time goes into such a big factor of pro versus DIY, right?
Yeah.
So I'd say those are my three, like budget, time, and how long are you looking for it to really last?
Nice. What are some of the different ways that you're currently seeing business owner leverage high quality video like yours?
Gotcha. Okay. So my thing has always been, I'm trying to make content for everything, not just one thing. So it's broad enough to where what we make for you is going to be good enough for any platform. Like it's better than not posting it on social and not putting it on your website. Like I try to be where maybe more of like a freelancer, like a solo person may just give you a quote for the one video that you asked for. I try to really go a step above and go, how can we maximize this investment that you're about to do for production to where we can use it on all sorts of platforms, right? So like think like, you see a TV commercial, right, on TV, right? That's probably the biggest one you could think of where
highest level.
Right. But even like a digital signage in your office, right? Digital signage can be really helpful. We can create sizzle reels from just the B-roll, right? Of like, I like to call it like we're creating stock footage, but with you in it, right? So digital signage. The most popular one is going to be your digital presence, right? Like on website, right? We can create a whole videos tab and, FAQs, stuff like that, testimonials on your website. My favorite thing to make for a website is, again, like a sizzle reel or like a banner video. So it'd be like maybe the first thing that you see when you open the website, and it's this awesome, this cool video. A lot of hospitality industries will do that as well too, like food, beverage, right? They want to show off their products, and just let them sell themselves, right? And then social media, obviously another big one. We don't specifically shoot social media video.
Okay.
Those are kind of two different paths. Again, that now we're getting even deeper into like marketing and video. That's not the same thing, but then video production and what right now is very popular with social media style, where it is kind of more raw. It's more behind the scenes. It's more shot on your phone. People don't want to be sold to, so it's a whole different style of video, and it's more of maybe what you would consider like a social media manager or social media content creator. But we'll still make our videos vertical because it's still going to be better than not posting. Like if you were just working with us, I'd love for people to go, we're going to do big production and bigger style stuff with Jordan, and then we're going to have our social media manager do social media specifically. But sometimes that's not always in the budget, right? So
that's, you would prefer with most clients that's separate video footage then?
I think so. I mean, again, it's always changing, but definitely right now, I think that's what I've found to be more successful, because the social media style is just so different than everything else that I just said, and again, I'm still going to give you the vertical format so you can post it on TikTok, so you can put it on Reels, so you can put it on all YouTube Shorts. Everybody's trying to be like TikTok now, the vertical video is just taken back over. Right.
Yeah.
So
I personally hate it, but it's a
necessity. A lot. I mean, as a videographer, I'm like, you shoot video this way, it's like, but hey, you got to adapt. Right. So, no, so we always give them the vertical format, but again, the goal there is just to give the marketer the content how they're going to need it, right? And most of the time, the business owner doesn't even know exactly what all they need.
Yeah.
So we just try to be proactive and try to give it to you in every way that we can.
Let's dive more into the social media aspect of video. How has that kind of changed your industry, your business? I mean, you lightly hit on it, but what are you seeing out there when it comes to that?
Yeah, I think I would go back to, with social media, it's really the biggest difference right now is the vertical form. We want to still post the videos that we're making on social media. So and we shoot in such high quality that we can reposition the video. We don't have to shoot it specifically vertically to be for social media. But so, that really just goes back into what I was saying as well too about it being two different lanes, right? I think that's another big thing that is not talked about. Yeah. It's like, oh, if you do video, that means you do every single thing video.
Right.
Just like what we're doing right now as well too. Like, I don't do podcasts. Yeah. Like, this is a whole different, like, studio stuff is whole different, So I think that's just the main thing. And like with social media, it's so performance based as well too. What's working, what's not, so it's just a whole different strategy. But we, again, just try to give the marketers the formats that they need. So we'll still give the vertical and what I expand on in that too is even our video stuff can work great on like sponsor posts or, paid ads, Google ads, stuff like that, where it's still social media, but it's like a different platform within the social media. It's almost like you've got 3 platforms in each social media app because you've got so let's just use Instagram. Yeah. Instagram is like normal photos and normal videos and just your normal feed, right? But then there's more. You got the stories involved. You got stories involved, so that's going to be other types of video. And then you go into the Reels, right? Which is just a whole different platform within Instagram. But then you've also got all the ads as well too, which is in the Reels sometimes, but it's not always. It's like you're working with a ton of different things all in one platform, and then multiply that by however many social media channels you have, so it's just a lot. It's a lot of stuff. It's a lot. Social media is a lot.
What are some of the common misconceptions that you see business owners making between a video productions company like yourself and some of the other just random people out there doing video?
Yeah. Okay. So I think we've kind of leaned into not being a freelance videographer. We're a video production company. I've always said that could be like some dude's brother's cousin who bought a camera, right? Like a freelance videographer. No slight. I am not, no hate. I work with freelancers all the time. Yeah. Like, that's who we work with. So no hate at all. But we've always tried to lean into the video production aspect, like the video production team. Yeah. Like, it's me and my business partner, and we have 2 other people that work with us as well too, pretty regularly. So it's a team of people. It's not just one person showing up with a camera. Yeah. Right. Because at the end of the day, I think as well too, with other videographers, you're the producer, you're the shooter, and you're the editor. And a lot of people, I think, will just charge for just one person. Yeah. I'm like, you need to charge for, even if you're doing all 3 of those, like that. And that's a bare minimum job. Yeah. There's a producer, a shooter, and an editor. That's 3 people's jobs that a lot of people just do themselves, but then they don't charge for it as well too, right? So that's one of the things that I think as well too, where it's just something that needs to be, you need to charge for it. Yeah. My message to videographers, if you're a solo guy, you need to charge for your time and you need to get paid for what you're worth. Yeah. Right.
I think every business owner would agree with that.
Right.
So.
Like, but I always break it down to that. I usually work and think in threes. So I'm like producer, shooter, editor. That's 3 people's jobs. We need to charge for it. And so I think oftentimes any given business owner, they'll see me or they'll see somebody on my team and they'll just think that we're just a solo person. So I think that's probably the biggest thing that I educate people a lot on the difference of just like shooting a random video, just some guy with a camera, versus a video production team that knows what they're doing. They know how to do it efficiently. They know how to get it done. The other thing that I always talk about as well too is one of the things I dislike about like hourly rates so we're really good at what we do. Yeah. And we can do it in a half day. Why would we get punished price-wise for a guy that needs 8 hours to do it? So that's another thing I talk about as well too is just within price is just make sure people are charging for what they're worth, and make sure you're charging so that everybody can be competitive as well too. Yeah. Because, and at the end of the day, if I go back to collaboration over competition, for other videographers, like when the tides rise, all ships sail. Yeah. So.
Well, and I think it also goes back to the difference between professional versus someone who's doing it on the side, which I believe most industries can attest to. There's always people out there who are professionals doing it full time for a living versus the people are, I could do that for you, right? And that's generally a different quality that comes out of that. Not saying it's bad, not saying they don't have their place. And that goes with every industry, even in ours, right? When it comes to business sales, you all the time we laugh. We get people who are like, oh, I can help you with that. Like, you probably can't. But there's a difference in someone who does it all day, every day, eats, sleeps, and breathes that, just like you guys eat, sleep, and breathe video versus the person who has a camera.
No. And again, it's like, it's no slight. It's no slight. It's no hate.
Everyone has their place.
Right,
yeah.
Right.
So I think we kind of already hit on this, but we can dive into a little bit deeper. How does 10 Pillar Productions, your company, really differ from a marketing company? You've hit on you work well with them and all of that, but what's the separation there?
There's two different ways there. Mm-hmm. You've got a company that has a marketing department, but that marketing department may be 2 people. It could be the marketing manager and their assistant or whatever. Like it could be 2 people, so it could be small. But then there's also the third party marketing agency or like fractional CMO or somebody like that, right? What I have found is that most of the time those people are looking for freelance videographers or a video production solution. Because they don't offer it themselves. Like they're not the ones that's going to be going out and shooting video. Just like I'm not going to be the one talking about we need to redesign your logo. We need to work on your branding, right? I'm like the next tier after that, right? So usually a pretty big qualifier is with a client is if they're not doing really any sort of marketing, and especially like currently, then we're probably not going to be the right fit just because they really need to get that plan going first, their marketing down and who their audience is and who we're trying to, hit.
Yeah. I think for me, it would be what are you going to use the video for?
Totally.
Sounds like they need to know that before they come to you.
Right. Absolutely. And I don't mind helping, I don't mind asking the questions and giving, and answering and helping, but it's just not our lane. Yeah. If there's one thing that I've learned from networking and from doing business for a little bit, it's been as much as you can niche down, as specific as you can be, the better. So we're not super specific in our industries that we shoot, like that the clients, but we are specific in like, we're just video. We have photographers that we can bring on, but like I'm specifically video production, and a lot of times we are that what I call marketers support. Yeah. Right. So we're working with them to create the video, and they and I just say too, they can have as much or as little involvement as they want. Because sometimes the marketer, they've got tons of clients that they're working with, and video. Well, again, why would you pitch video if you're not confident in it? Yeah. Right. That's the first step. But then they've got tons of clients, and they may have tons of video projects going. I've had them go, Jordan, we're doing testimonials. I need you to go figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, I got you. No
Yeah.
problem. And then I've had sometimes where they almost act as a producer as well too. And they're kind of really involved in going, okay, here's how we're going to do this. And this is what we want. And, you know, shot lists and idea, you know, and I always just say, we just want to make it easy for people to work with us. So I'm game for as much or as little involvement as anybody wants to have.
Speaking of clients actually working with you and engaging you for video, how do you guys work with the creative process? What's your strategy, or how does that look with you guys?
Yeah, we try to so we do a combination of regular work with clients, like on like a retainer, but then we also do one-offs as well too. So we try to maximize the content that we're going to make out of any shoot.
Yeah.
Because it's an investment. I mean, it is an investment to get good video, right? So to get people the most content as well too, that's what will get people on retainer. So we do roughly like maybe a quarterly shoot and then deliver like weekly videos.
Okay.
Right? Something like that. Something simple to where we've found that quarterly is enough, but not too much on the business owner. And then the way that we deliver content as well too is usually monthly. So like a batch of videos, because we found, well, if we give them a quarter's worth of content,
it just sits.
That's a lot to go through. But if we give them one video a week, that's too much back and forth as well too. You know, so we've kind of found that monthly deliverables is really helpful, right?
Okay.
There's a free tip for anybody listening that does video. But we also, so to go back to your original question with the creative process, we also pretty much have a theme for any shoot that we're doing.
Okay. So,
because a lot of people, you know, they really are going to want to try to get as much out of their production day as possible.
Yeah.
But it takes away from, if you're trying to do FAQs and testimonials at the same time, it just takes away, they take away from each other. Really, we just need to focus on one and make it look really good. And we do a lot of interviews and then we do a lot of B-roll. That's usually like a standard shoot for us. So take that retainer client, right? So say they want to do a year, right? And we do, let's say we're going to do like their general story and branding day. That's kind of what I call it. So I'm going to talk to you about who you are. What's the face behind the company? You know, let's get to know you. It's usually maybe like a meet the team kind of style, right? So it's very standard. I like to ask questions like, what makes you guys different? You know, stuff like that on your story day. Maybe the next one's going to be more in depth on your processes, right? So we're going to go in depth on process, each layer of what you do in your company. The next day, we're going to go FAQs. That's a super popular one. FAQs, what's your 15 most popular questions that you're talking about all day, every day? You know, let's get those and make those a really nice video. And then testimonials is another. That's probably the most popular one that we get. Getting people in a professional interview and doing it all. And then testimonials are great too, because I can get the business owner interacting with the person in the interview. And that B-roll is like, perfect. So good. You know, it's like, it's perfect. So not only can I use that B-roll for those videos, those batches of videos, but also it can be used for sizzle reels and everything else, right? So it's always the best content, like the testimonials is some of my favorite content. So I try to theme it all out. And, you know, you can do it on a one-off as well, too. We can pick a theme. And then what we'll do as well, too, is, you know, maybe you'll do a year, if you want to do a year of video, so 4 shoots, or kind of just quarter to quarter as well, too. So that one will be popular as well, too, because they're like, well, I don't know if I'm going to need 4 this year, but I may want 2. So but I don't want to just do a one-off. So how can I get them, you know, so I would say that's our biggest thing that makes us different as well too, is those kind of 3 content strategies and those package options. That's been a big thing that we do, is really just dive into the theme of each production day and really try to hone in and focus on that specifically, and not try to just do too much on one day.
Speaking of doing too much, since you're dealing with business owners who are generally experts in their field, how do you balance their vision with your actual video expertise?
That's a great question. That's super good, because at the end of the day, I'm like a jack of all trades in every industry that we shoot with. So I'm like, I know a little bit about estate planning, and I know a little bit about, this brewery that we shot for, but like in no way am I an expert. Like I am just the expert exchange in production. Right?
Yeah.
So I typically, I know what can work, and I know the standard questions that I need to ask, but where I lean on the business owner is to go, look, you talk about this all day, every day. You know your business more than I'll ever know.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things that we talk about in our interviews as well, too, is I'm like, let's just have a conversation. You know this stuff. I'm just getting it out of you. You're going to talk about this on a call 10 minutes after this.
Yeah.
So let's just hear some of that. So I where I lean on the business owner is just their expertise coming out in their industry. Because I'm never going to know as much as the attorney.
Yeah.
I'm never going to know as much as the business broker. I'm never, so that's pretty much where I lean. But every other side of production, we try to take care of because we also know what we need as well, too. And when you're hiring us, obviously it's your video. We want to make the changes you want. We want to make sure that you like your videos. But you're also hiring us for our opinion and our expertise on that side as well, too. So I've told people before, because we've gotten maybe revisions or something, I'm like, so here's an example of a good revision. Revision goes, hey, love this video. It was for a trade show event or something. We actually are trying to avoid that vendor. Can we remove that shot?
Yeah.
We're not really partnering with them anymore. Anything like that, right? This is total hypothetical. I would never know that.
Yeah.
I wouldn't know that. How would I know that? We're just shooting, unless they specifically told us beforehand. But so much stuff comes up like that. After the fact, once they've seen the video, Other notes can be sometimes just so subjective. They're just so subjective. And I go, look, okay, I understand what you're saying. I just want to let you know that my recommendation is to do this. If you don't want to do that, that's fine. I want to make your video how you want it. But again, it just kind of goes back to you're hiring us for the expert opinion as well, too. And a lot of it does come down to subjectiveness. And we do it all day. We do it every day. I know what it needs to look like, so that's just something I think as well, too, that a lot of people don't think about.
That's funny. We do that a lot in our industry is when we'll come in and say, you hired us. I'm here to give you my advice.
Right.
Might not be pretty, but here's what I think.
Right.
And that, and it comes with those years of experience in doing all that. So it's always good to be like, hey, look, at the end of the day, you have the final decision. It's for you, but here's what I think. So,
but
yeah,
totally.
As we kind of start to wrap up here, do you have any DIY tips for business owners that are just looking to get started in video?
Totally. Do it. That's the first one. Yeah, it's going to be great. It's going to help. The number one reason people don't shoot video is the fear of being on camera.
Yeah, I'll go with that.
It's not price. It's not time. It's fear of being on camera, right? So that's something that we've tried to lean into as well, too, and really try to make people comfortable on camera and help people through that, almost like a mini therapist on set, So the other first part of that as well, too, is we see all the flaws in ourselves.
Yeah.
Right. So my response to people doing their own video and fear of being on camera, you're not going to like your voice. You're not going to like the way you look. Right. We're our own biggest critics, but everybody else just sees you.
Yeah.
Right. Like, I'm like, oh, my hair,
So I laugh.
Make sure I look good.
Say I have the perfect face for radio. So
it's
glad we're doing this.
It's a classic. Right.
Yeah.
No, I'd say, but the other thing to think about, too, is it's not personal content. It's business content.
Correct.
Right. So, yeah, I want my personal photos to look good. I want my personal stuff to look. I'm like, oh, I don't like the way I look in that photo. Don't like the way, or whatever. Right. For personal stuff, of course. But just remember, try to put that aside, too, because it's business content at the end of the day. So it's just for business. Right. So that's my first just like kind of piece of advice. The next one would be your content strategy as well, too. So
Strategy's
just like what we
key.
were talking about, right, about how we come up with themes, you can do that as well, too, right? You can do that yourself. And I put it into kind of 3 different tiers, right? So you've got your core topic. So let's do this together. Let's use business brokers. Okay. Business brokers is your core topic. And then you need 3 subtopics. So what would be 3 subtopics of being a business broker?
Business valuations, exit strategy, actually getting prepared to sell, and then estate planning. What are you actually going to do with the money once you have it?
So now you've got your core topic, your 3 subtopics, which could also just be 3 themes in itself.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can make however really many videos you can come up with as you want, right? But usually maybe 4 or 5, right, for each subtopic. And then you got tons of videos right there, right? So I think a lot of people, they get into this thing where I need to shoot so much, I need to do all of this, and then you end up doing nothing.
Yeah.
Where if you just simplify it down that way, you can go, oh, well, I'm just going to make 1 video a day. I don't know, you enter whatever you want to do. But you can do stuff like industry myths, right? That's a super popular one. A quick tip, right? FAQs, right? These can all be in there as well too, in this kind of the small, just like video idea within the subtopic. This is all stuff that you can do, and it makes it so much more manageable to go, okay, I'm going to do this one today, or I'm going to do just this.
I'm going to talk about this versus everything in one shot.
Same thing with like take sales, for example, right? Like somebody doing sales, right? You're like, man, I really need to call like all these people. And then you're like, maybe I won't do it because it's like so many people that I need to catch up with and call, when in reality, I'm like, okay, maybe if I just do 2 today, well, I'll knock it out in this month, So same thing. So content strategy, it just makes things easier for you, instead of just going in and being like, oh, I don't know what I'm going to talk about. And then those video ideas are really just like hooks as well too, for getting people interested. So whether you're doing that yourself or with a professional, I mean, we're both kind of doing the same thing there. And then I'd say the last one, this is the biggest mistake that I see everybody make, even videographers, because it's hard, is lighting. So we've got some really good lighting in here, but you don't have to have professional equipment to light well. It's called 3-point lighting, is your standard basic lighting. So you got your key light, you got fill light, and then you got backlight. And in reality, you probably really just need a key light, maybe some fill light. You can use a little, cube light that you can get off Amazon for $50 to $100, depending on which one you want. You can set that, or even cheaper probably too, with all the Zoom stuff now, and it goes on your computer and everything. So kind of your key light, and then maybe use a window as like a fill light. And then oftentimes even just like your house lights can be the backlight, So I just say most people, that's usually the biggest thing that people just don't know or care or do anything with the lighting. The other one I'd say about lighting as well too is, especially on your Zoom calls, don't be behind a window because you're going to be, looks like you're in the witness protection program. You're going to be like dark. A total silhouette, right? So try to use if you're going to be near a window, try to use that as a key light or as your fill light or something like that. So like on my setup, just at my office, I use a little cube light for my key light. Oftentimes, I even use some of my second monitor on my computer setup to help with some light as well too.
Brighten it up
a little bit, exactly. And then I use my window light for some fill, and then I use my office light as kind of the backlight, kind of like a hair light, But the more light is always, it's definitely going to help. And the last thing I would say is, if you're going to shoot video, say you're doing like a selfie or you're doing something, any video, really, even if you're just doing it with a laptop or something, try to avoid being like right up against a wall. Okay, so like if you're the subject and the wall's here, you'd want to be like that.
Space it out.
Right? Because it's just all pretty flat. Everything's in focus. It's just kind of boring. It's just not interesting. This gives some separation from the background. And even with any camera, it's probably going to at least be a little bit of out of focus, right? At least it's not going to be the what draws your eye, because what you want to be focused on is you, right? So that's another thing I always see. People go like right up against a wall or right up against, it's just too flat. It just doesn't look good, So
when someone's starting out with that DIY, what about equipment? Right. So do you recommend they go out and buy a $5,000 camera and a $2,000 microphone and all that if they're going to start day one?
No, no, definitely not. Equipment is just something that makes professionals better. I mean, let's be real,
Yeah.
So, you've got most of the equipment in your pocket in your office, and you've got, like I said, like there's a lot of stuff that you can do that with just a little bit of extra, like, okay, I should put this light here.
Just
I
more
should do
lighting
this.
instead of that.
I mean, you can get a good, decent Yeti mic, right? Something like that. You can get one of those decent, like I was saying, cube lights, just to kind of give you some light on you. I mean, this is not a big investment, right? And you can do so much on your phone. You can do so much on your webcam. Like, I mean, I haven't even talked about an actual camera, like I've just been saying phone or, webcam. So, I mean, audio, right? You get some sort of audio would probably be your best investment there, like a mic, and then just something lighting wise. And then what you have in your pocket and your laptop is definitely going to be fine, especially if you're just starting. Totally.
So we hit on those starting out and those DIYers. What about for those who are looking to take the next step, right? What advice would you give the business owner who says, I'm past the DIY, I need some professional video? What advice would you give them in contacting a production company like yourself?
Yeah, I mean, the best thing you can do, I've always said I don't sell video. I'm just trying to get people to see our videos. So that's the best part about video is watch their videos. Do you like their style? Do you like how
look at their work?
Do you look at their work? I mean, it's one of the same thing with photo, right? It's one of the easiest things to go, let me just check out their portfolio. Let me see, do I like their style? Do I like them? Do I, so checking out their content, checking out their social media, checking out, just their style, I mean, is going to be first and foremost, right? And if you're not getting the best vibe, you're probably right, like, and then just know as well too, you're going to get what you pay for, right? Yeah. I mean, maybe not exactly the price comparison here, but I want to use an example of like buying a car. You can get a cheaper car.
Yeah.
But is that what you really want? Like that's kind of I like to use that analogy as well too, with when it comes to like price or when it comes to which video production team to work with. I always want people to get just the most out of their investment. Like that's my goal,
Yeah.
So, but just like with buying a car, if you're going to cheap out,
it is what it is.
It is what it is. That's exactly right.
So as we wrap up here and we finish up, if someone wants to find out more about 10 Pillar or about you, how can they reach out and how can they contact you?
Yeah, I mean, Josh, thanks so much for having me. I appreciate it. And yeah, 10 Pillar Productions on everything. We're on all the social media platforms. We're super active on Instagram and other social media, but just the number 10 Pillar Productions. And then our website, same thing, www.10pillarproductions.com. And yeah, and we always are down to talk with other videographers, other marketers, business owners, and just answer questions. I always want to just help people understand what all goes into video. So if anybody always has a question, I always tell people don't hesitate to reach out, because we love talking about video and educating people on how we can help them.
Perfect. And as always, we will put links to all of Jordan's information, social media channels, and all of that on the website and on the post. If you've enjoyed what you've heard today and you want to keep the conversation going, you can follow us on X at the EXP Exchange, or visit our website at theexpertexchange.pro. That's expertexchange.pro. For more resources, information related to Jordan and 10 Pillar, you can find them online at 10pillarproduction.com. That is the number 10, pillarproductions.com. And remember, success is a journey, and we're thrilled to be a part of yours. We'll catch you on the next episode.
All content on this show is information of a general nature and does not address the circumstances of any particular individual or entity. Nothing in this show constitutes professional or financial advice, nor does any information on the show constitute a comprehensive or complete statement of the matters discussed or the law relating thereto. The Expert Exchange is not a fiduciary by virtue of any person's use of or access to this content. You alone assume the sole responsibility of evaluating the merits and risks associated with the use of any information or content on the show before making any decisions based on such information. In exchange for using the content, you agree not to hold the Expert Exchange, its affiliates, or any third-party service provider liable for any possible claim for damages arising from any decision you make based on information or other content made available to you through the show. The Expert Exchange is not licensed to practice law or provide legal advice. Nothing contained within this show is intended to be an offer to either buy or sell securities.